I got this chair. Whoa.
Surprise. It's very comfy. It's very comfy.
So I'm here with Holly Darnell. She is a registered dietitian who owns Golden Roots Nashville. So tell us more about that, how you got into that.
Yeah. What you do. Yeah, so Golden Roots Nashville is a locally sourced catering and event company. And I do specialize in gluten-free and dairy-free cooking as well. And so it started, my love of the kitchen started from being with my grandmother at a really young age. They had this beautiful farm in Arkansas, and they grew some things on the farm, so I got to see the process of growing and canning and jams and everything like that. But really, time with her, we were always baking cookies, or I soon came to know that quality time with her, or just quality time in general, to me means time together, and that love that I feel comes from the kitchen and spending time together around the table.
Yeah. And when you were growing up, you sort of started kind of taking on the role of the family chef.
Yeah. In middle school, my mother, she's an amazing baker, but she doesn't like to cook, so I would say what I wanted to cook for us for dinner, and she would go buy the groceries, and then I would cook for our family for the dinner. So I just kind of family dinners, and then later on, I'm blanking. It's fine.
That kind of led you to sort of want to study it in college.
Yeah. I've always, again, I love cultivating time together for people around the table. I've always loved food and nutrition and things like that. So becoming a dietitian just kind of merged all of those things for me. And so I went to Mississippi State and studied nutrition, and then did my internship at Vanderbilt University, and then sat for the RD exam. So became a registered dietitian. I've been practicing for almost 10 years, which is crazy. I graduated in 2009, 2010 year. So then I went from there, and I worked with WIC, with Women, Infants, and Children. I worked there for 5 years, and I really loved it. And for those of you that don't know, it's for it's low-income families. It gives healthy foods to a really high-risk population, women that are pregnant, kids up to the age of 5, and women that have just had babies. So it's I loved working there. But my last year, I kind of wanted to change, and I didn't know what that looked like for me. So I looked at other jobs. I was on Indeed like every morning, just kind of searching and seeing what that would look like, but nothing fit what I wanted to do. Nothing really like what I love to do and what I have a passion for doing. Nothing was really out there that fit those qualifications. Yeah. So thanks to a lot of friends who are also entrepreneurs, things like that, they kind of put the idea, well, what would it look like if you did start your own business? And so then I just had that idea, and I've always wanted to own my own thing, but again, I also come from a family which I love my family so dearly, but it's like, you need to have that 9-to-5 job, health insurance, benefits, stability. Yeah. So going into this role of just a not necessarily stable thing, but something that I'm very passionate about and love doing. Yeah. So that's kind of how that morphed into Golden Roots Nashville, and even the last 6 months of my job at WIC, I took on some personal chefing gigs to see if I actually enjoy cooking as a job, because I love doing it for other people, and I loved having dinner parties, but what does it look like when I turn it into a business? But I still loved that part, and then I started doing actually some personal chefing, and then I did some kind of like a local Blue Apron. I use local farms. I provide the recipe because I really love that education piece and teaching people how to cook beautiful, simple, healthy things. But then that morphed into fully prepared meals for a time, and there are some beautiful companies here that do it really well, but I was just so small. Yeah. And I found my heart became more in the catering and the event side of it all, and that's honestly too what took off and what grew. So,
and you do all the cooking and everything by yourself?
I do. I do all the cooking, all the meal prep, unless of course if it's a huge event, I do not take that on. And I think the beauty is, as a business owner, is knowing when to delegate and when to say, hey, I do need help with this, and because I do like to, control everything because it is like my baby, and so I love to be there in all aspects of everything. But as a business owner, you have to know when it's time to hire other people. So yes, for bigger events, larger events, I do hire them.
I'm curious how you came up with the name Golden Roots. Is there some significance to that?
So my favorite color has always been yellow gold ever since I was really, really young. Now it's like a trendy color, so I'm happy with that. But I love the color. And then in my life, business, family, relationships, whatever that looks like, good things grow if they have good roots and are like planted in good soil. So that's kind of what I wanted to speak to my business and everything that I do, and then also the food that I use too.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you've also got another kind of partnership going with some other local dietitians.
I do, yes. So kind of, it's called Nashville Nutrition Partners. And so think of it as you would, physicians have a group practice. Mm-hmm. There's actually an OB clinic and they have a group practice. So we are 3 dietitians and we have a group practice. So we are not separate entities. We are Nashville Nutrition Partners, and we all have different specialties, and primarily right now we see clients one-on-one and do nutrition counseling, but we're a different group because we practice from the standpoint that people can be healthy at every size, so we don't factor in weight. We really just look at the individual person and that whole person, and we take into account again, not only just food, but your life, how are you doing self-care? What does your stress look like? Kind of things like that, because that in turn can affect relationships with food or how that shows up for you too. So, it's been really a really beautiful thing. And we do have goals and visions of doing workshops and speaking and things like that. So we kind of sat down and looked at, we'd all owned our own practice before too, and had all done this solo route. And again, owning your own business is a hard and a beautiful thing. But we all realized we have the same, we practice the same way, from the same core values and core beliefs of, it's all about the individual person. And we just want that person to feel the best that they possibly can. And we want that for Nashville. And surrounding areas. We want that for the state, love that, world. But being here and also being a Nashville native, I just have such a love for this community, and we just kind of had this dream of what does that look like for the next 5, 10, 15 years, and this group practice is what happened because of it. So it's a really beautiful thing.
So it's Nashville Nutrition Partners.
Yes. Yes, that's our website. Yes, Instagram and website, NashvilleNutritionPartners.com. Yes.
So what is sort of one piece of advice you can give to people in terms of like how to make eating easier, or like what's your best tip?
Yeah, because I think too, when I started my own business, I stopped doing it for myself, and so it's been kind of not fun, but it has been fun. Now I do some like meal prepping workshops and cooking workshops and things like that, because now they're tips that I realized, I have become one of the people who doesn't have time, and how does cooking healthy foods fit in, and how do you do it? So I really am a fan of like kind of cooking once and having a lot for the week, or I just like to, what I call is a cook smart. So I'll pick recipes that you can cook in different, like for example, you can cook one recipe in a crock pot, you can cook one on the stovetop, you can be doing a sheet pan dinner, and then you have, your meals for the week. And your Instapot. Again, I have lots of cooking gadgets, lots of cooking utensils, but I think that really minimizes your kitchen time. If you're roasting your veggies at the same time you're cooking your rice, or quinoa or cauliflower rice or whatever kind of grain you want to use, or farro.
Yeah.
And then in the crock pot, you're making your chili or your Indian butter chicken, for the week. And that just makes things simpler. Also for lunches, I find it's really great to have a lot of options on hand. So you can just roast a bunch of veggies that you love at one time. Pick protein, like you could do chicken. You can even buy the rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. That's great to have to throw into salads, to make wraps, sandwiches, little grain bowls out of. So you have the veggies, you have a green, you have your protein, and again, you can always use chickpeas or black beans, or there are lots of other vegetarian friendly options too. And then you throw that in a bowl, and if you have a sauce too, you can change it up. So you could have like a Mexican themed bowl one day, and the next day it could be Greek style. So I'm a fan of always having some sort of like favorite sauce, favorite dressing. I think that really, and spices, I think that really adds excitement and variety to the meal. So you could technically have the same type of bowl each day, but have a different sauce. Or switch up your veggies, or switch up your protein, and that makes it new, and your taste buds don't get bored. So, yeah.
Now, if you, let's say, you were on your deathbed, and they said you got to tell us what you want for your last meal, what do you think?
That's a fun question, but it is. So I am a lover of anything Mexican food. I could probably eat Mexican every day of the week. It's a gift. But I love, give me some like street corn, street tacos. I love a good carnita taco. I also love like
in Nashville for Mexican?
Mas tacos. I love it. You're gonna get your like street taco fix going to Mas tacos, and I love it too because it's like beautifully simple, so good. So yeah, I would have guacamole, cheese dip, street tacos, corn, probably some black beans, and a margarita. That would be my last meal. Or Spanish tapas. I go either way. I lived in Spain for a while, and really I also speak Spanish. So yeah, fun fact. Okay, great. And so I really love Spanish tapas. So that would be a close second there.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. And then I just want to touch a little bit on Golden Roots is obviously more the event sort of side of things, and then Nutrition Partners is more individualized. With both of those, or either of them, is there really a specific, because I know you kind of work with like more dietary restrictions and sort of specific diets, but anyone really can benefit from
anyone. With both practices. So for example, Golden Roots Nashville, I do have the capability to make anything gluten-free, dairy-free, but I've had several clients who their event nobody has any allergies, and so I just make food that we both collaborate on ideas too, but I just make beautiful, tasty food. So personalized menus. So, and again, for example, I did an event 2 weeks ago, and they just said that it has to be vegetarian. So, it was definitely a healthy vegetarian, but I work with any and all. If you have dietary restrictions, if you just have general health and wellness questions, that's too when the Nashville Nutrition Partners comes into play too. If you're just, have some questions about general wanting to work on health and wellness, and it may not necessarily be a specific dietary need or restriction dietary-wise for disease states and chronic conditions, but we can work with anyone.
What about if you just sort of want to, know how to sort of cook better, or recipe, figure things out?
Yeah. So I do, Golden Roots Nashville does some cooking classes, which I love doing them. Actually going to do a spices and sauces one probably in January, because let's be honest, it's holiday time, and holidays in Nashville, there are events all the time, which are so much fun. But I do cooking classes. I also, with Nashville Nutrition Partners, that's something that we also offer. We offer some one-on-one time in the kitchen together, and also offer to, if you do just want a meal plan, you come in, again, we assess everything, lifestyle, what you love, what you don't love, and then together we kind of work on that. But we're starting to have a more hands-on opportunities with both of those So yeah, it's really fun.
All right, so you can find Holly at Golden Roots Nashville, NashvilleNutritionPartners.com. Are both of those on Instagram?
They are, yes.
Okay.
And Instagram and website, our website is where, well, both websites. That's where you'll get a feel of both businesses. Golden Roots Nashville has all images of food, naturally. And so I'm also a recipe developer, so has some recipes that I've worked on with food products. And then Nashville Nutrition Partners, the page will look more like how do I book an appointment and work with you, and just more beautiful messaging about body image and how to love yourself and how to have a good relationship with food. So they're definitely both different businesses, but they very much align as well. So it's fun to do both. Because again, why not take on two?
No bigger, no home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, so check her out at either or both places. If you have an event coming up or you just need some guidance, she's your go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so
much.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.